Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. Ships have become massive in size and require help when navigating port and harbor waterways. Tugboats were designed to assist these vessels when they needed to dock or reach the open water. The Charlotte Dundas, the first steam-powered tugboat, transformed marine operations in Scotland and worldwide from 1802, signaling the shift from sail power to mechanized harbor aid. With the help of strong engines that produce an incredible pulling force despite their modest size, tugboats securely navigate large ships through congested ports. These marine workhorses pull, push, and steer ships that are unable to maneuver in confined spaces on their own. With azimuth stern drive or diesel-electric drive systems, modern tugboats can produce up to 10,000 horsepower and 8,150 tons of bollard pull. With strengthened steel construction, 360 degrees rotating thrusters, sophisticated winches, and specialized fendering, their small hulls, usually 25-45 meters, allow them to push against large boats while yet exhibiting exceptional mobility in confined locations. Because large aircraft carriers are unable to navigate and operate precisely in crowded harbors, tugboats help. Carriers cannot use their engines to safely maneuver within narrow port constraints, even with their strong propulsion systems. During the most hazardous times of port operations, tugs act as nimble extensions of the ship's steering system. In the centuries-old man-on-rails custom, sailors lined the perimeter of the flight deck in their dress whites to represent respect and readiness during aircraft carrier deployments. This ceremonial manning of the rails symbolizes both naval heritage and the smooth coordination between tugboat crews and carrier personnel during this crucial transition to open water, as tugboats expertly maneuver the enormous warship from the port. During departures, a well-coordinated crew of sailors and civilian harbor pilots work together on the bridge of U.S. Navy aircraft carriers.
Okay.
Submarine.
While quartermaster navigators track position, helmsmen handle steering, and lee helmsmen oversee engines, the officer of the deck retains overall command. When the enormous warship moves from the pier to the open ocean after extensive maintenance, several lookouts scan for danger. Aircraft carriers use their nuclear propulsion systems to accelerate to operating speeds once they are not restricted by harbors. Personnel on the flight deck get ready for aircraft operations. As it shifts to blue water operations and mission readiness, the enormous ship progressively picks up speed so that its propellers and rudders can achieve the best steering and propulsion efficiency. As the enormous carrier makes its way through the tiny 120-mile strait that connects the Mediterranean to the Red Sea, a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier traversing the Suez Canal is a sight to behold. Being one of the world's busiest shipping lanes and a key trade route between Europe and Asia, the Suez Canal connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea through the Isthmus of Suez. The first recorded attempt to build a canal in this region dates back to the 13th century BC under the reign of Pharaoh Ramses II. However, it was not until the 19th century that the project was successfully completed. French engineer Ferdinand de Lesseps was granted a concession by the Egyptian government in 1854. And after 10 years of construction, the canal officially opened in 1869. Transporting a massive vessel like an aircraft carrier through the Suez Canal requires meticulous coordination. The Suez Canal plays a critical role in bridging the Mediterranean and the Arabian Sea, essential for moving ships between the U.S. 6th and 5th Fleets. Approval must be granted, and a local canal pilot joins the ship to guide it through. Tugboats assist throughout the transit, especially in areas with tight turns or narrow lanes. The carrier may also reduce speed to as low as 6 to 8 knots to ensure safe passage. The entire operation is synchronized between the bridge crew, the pilot, and supporting tug operators. Depending on traffic, it can take anywhere from 11 to 16 hours for a full transit. Naval transits are prioritized, but still subject to local regulations and environmental conditions. Guiding a Los Angeles-class submarine into dry dock is a deliberate and highly disciplined evolution that demands seamless coordination between tugboat operators, harbor pilots, and the submarine's crew. Unlike surface ships, submarines present unique handling challenges due to their rounded hull form, limited topside structure, and sensitive sonar arrays. Every movement must be calculated to protect both the vessel and the surrounding infrastructure. Before any towing begins, the submarine adjusts its ballast to achieve precise trim and draft. The primary tug applies steady forward pull, moving the submarine at extremely low speed. Backup tugs position themselves along the beam and stern, countering tidal currents, wind forces, and hydrodynamic drift. Tugmasters use short, controlled bursts of thrust to maintain exact centerline alignment with the dry dock entrance. During undocking operations, harbor tugs fasten several lines to specifically marked towing locations. While auxiliary tugs strategically position themselves to counteract any lateral movement induced by winds or currents, the lead tug starts a gentle pulling force. Guided by tugboat operators who are in regular contact with harbor control and submarine personnel, the submarine slowly emerges from the concrete chamber with inches of clearance on all sides. The safe transition from maintenance condition back to operational readiness is ensured by this delicate coordination between the submarine and the tugs. Battleships are giant armored warships built to rule the waves with their incredible firepower and heavy armor. The first battleship, known as Dreadnought, marked a revolution in naval warfare with its advanced armament and speed. However, their importance truly peaked during World War II, a period that saw the deployment of some of the most formidable battleships ever constructed. Although the battleship era of power has diminished significantly due to the shift to the U.S. Navy aircraft carriers and destroyers equipped with missiles, ships like the USS Nimitz are respected universally for their historical landmarks. In March 2024, a monumental operation took place on the Delaware River, the towing of the legendary battleship USS New Jersey, BB-62. From its museum berth in Camden, New Jersey, to the dry dock at the Philadelphia Navy Yard, this marked the first time in over 2 decades that the historic Iowa-class battleship was moved. The USS New Jersey, the most decorated battleship in U.S. Navy history, served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and the Lebanese Civil War. Decommissioned in 1991, she now serves as a floating museum. However, time and river currents take a toll on any steel-hulled vessel. To preserve her for future generations, the ship required a thorough hull inspection and maintenance work that could only be performed in dry dock. The operation began with the careful coordination of tugboats, divers, engineers, and Navy personnel. Tugboats were attached to strategic points around the 887-foot battleship to ensure a safe and controlled movement. Escorted by multiple tugboats, the New Jersey made the slow, 5-mile journey downriver. The transit required coordination with the U.S. Coast Guard and port authorities to temporarily halt nearby commercial traffic. Upon arrival, the New Jersey was gently maneuvered into dry dock number 3. One of the few remaining docks large enough to accommodate a ship of her size. Once secured, the dock was drained, exposing the battleship's massive hull for inspection, cleaning, and preservation work. From the age of steam to the era of nuclear-powered carriers and advanced submarines, tugboats have remained indispensable guardians of maritime movement. Though small in comparison to the giants they guide, their power, precision, and professionalism make global naval operations possible. Behind every successful deployment, maintenance, evolution, or emergency response stands a coordinated team of tug crews, harbor pilots, and naval personnel working in absolute synchronization. Their expertise ensures that the world's largest and most complex warships can transition safely between port and open sea. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.